Warm welcome to UppTalk Weekly, the Faculty of Science and Technology's online education initiative for alumni and society. UppTalk Weekly offers popular science seminar with researchers during lunchtime over Zoom. The conversations revolved around socially relevant topics where you as an audience have the opportunity to ask questions to our participants. So take the opportunity and ask all the questions that you have to our guest today, Anders Hagfeldt, Professor of Physical Chemistry and proposed as new Vice-Chancellor for Uppsala University. Warm welcome, Anders.
Thanks a lot. It's a pleasure to be here and see some names which I'm good friends and colleagues. I see that too. So it's good to see you.
Yes. Could you tell us a bit more about yourself and your background here at Uppsala University?
Yeah, I'm not from Uppsala originally. I'm from Östergötland, Norrköping, as we say in Östgötska. So I came to Uppsala as a student back in 1984. So that's a long time ago, and then studied physics and chemistry. I did also my PhD, where we started to work also what I do in research, solar cells and so on. And yeah, then I done most of my career, also my family, grown up children are one now living in Uppsala still and so on. So Uppsala is home in a sort of private point of view as well. I had one, let's say, excursion, what we call it, to KTH for 3 years. And then I moved to EPFL here in Switzerland 6 years ago. So yeah, but Uppsala is my alma mater and home, let's say.
Yes, and we are very happy to have you back here. And how does it feel to be back here at Uppsala University? Because you have had a lot of other positions here before.
Yes, no, as I said, it feels really in a way to come back home. I have enjoyed my time here at EPFL and was basically thinking that, yeah, I will continue like this for some more years and then maybe at some point to move back to Sweden and so on. But then this question came up asking if I was interested. I was nominated, and that was just a big honor in itself. I felt really excited about being nominated, and then of course one has to take a deep breath and think if I should be interested or not. And if you just say that you're interested, you have to follow. Of course, then you have to take a decision that it also may happen, even if I was maybe not completely giving myself that big chances. But then when it went through, it was super exciting, I must say. It's really very exciting, and at the same time, I feel, let's say, humbled for the challenges and so on. So, what it exactly means, well, that is to be seen. But I'm feeling very, very motivated and happy to be back in Uppsala.
Yeah, and what was your main feeling when you got the question? Someone asked you to candidate for the position, and then you decided to say yes. So what in that process made you say yes, and what's your vision about being the Vice-Chancellor of Uppsala University?
Yeah, I think to say yes personally was actually not, that was not difficult, because it felt that to be Vice-Chancellor of Uppsala University, a classic, broad, complete university, and it's my alma mater, as I said, was something you can, I mean, it was just too exciting to think for myself. The bigger question to say yes was more that it's not only, when I do the decision, it's not only me who is affected, it's many other people who also things will change for, let's say. So I have, of course, it's family. It was my wife, but she's happy to be back in Uppsala. And then it was more also here at EPFL, what does it mean to the lab? And we have very exciting, good it works very well, the research, and it's a lot of people, 25 people in the lab. So of course I thought through that consequences, let's say, what will happen and so on. But at the end, I felt this is an opportunity which will not come back, and I will probably, if I say no, think about it all my life why I did say no. So it became at the end quite easy to say yes, let's say.
Yeah.
And for Uppsala, well, the first thing I think about when I see Uppsala from the outside is that it's a broad, complete university, and that is really attractive. I think I think to myself at least that I'm quite curious about not only chemistry but also all other kind of things going on. So to be able to be part and to learn of all other things and all the experts in Uppsala, that is what I think is the most interesting thing. So, and then to take advantage of that broad university, to have interdisciplinary projects and having meetings and seminars where one can listen to different perspectives and different point of views. I think that's the main vision, to take advantage of this broad university with all its specific experts.
You have mentioned that you want to focus on the climate as a broad profile for Uppsala University. And could you tell us a bit more about your thoughts about that?
Yeah, well, I think first, I mean, the climate change is our biggest challenge on the globe, let's say, for sure. And we see the consequences of it all the time. And then, of course, my own background as doing research on solar cells, it's a natural connection, of course, to renewable energy and that the sustainable development and so on. So it feels extremely important, of course, and very essential to work with these questions. And I think Uppsala has and already do a lot of activities. Of course, there are several centra with the sustainable development as a topic from different angles. And I do think we can create also a very strong profile with this combination of different experts in different fields and together find exciting new research questions where you really combine interdisciplinary competencies.
You are from the faculty, or you belong to the science and technology field, but Uppsala University has a lot of different subjects and faculties. How do you want to merge them together? How do you make this real umbrella? And yeah.
Well, I think it's many interesting things going on for some time on, as I said, in CMUS, for example, as a center, and there is on Monday starts this Globe Life inauguration where you combine also various things together with Karolinska, and you have also the Center for Women Health. I think is also a very interesting combination of so there is a lot of things going on. So it's just to continue like that, and also to learn from this, and it's done in different ways, as I understand, with different formats and money for different things, and to evaluate after some time what is working well when you try to combine these things. I think one of the challenges from my own experience to work over disciplines, let's say, is that you need to find something which is win-win for both, or maybe there are more than two partners, of course. But that it can be, the problem can be that it's one partner who is driving the question and the others becomes more like a service functioning. And then it dissipates after some time, it disappears. And you need to find that both parties find their own research interest and also see that it's also creating interest for our research. So how to do that combination, I think, can be challenging, but I'm sure that we will find ways to do that.
We have a question here from Erik Johansson. Any plans for divestment, decarbonization decarbonizing of university endowment funds, following in the footstep of Oxbridge and the University of California system. Now the connection with Anders has stopped. He's sitting not here in Sweden, he's in Switzerland, so maybe a technology problem has occurred. Yes, while we're waiting for his connection to come back, I can just as Eric did, please write your questions in the chat function, and hopefully when Anders gets back, we can ask them to him. Wait, and I also want to tell a bit more about UppTalk Weekly, who is a lunch seminar that we have every Tuesday. And now we have Thursday because we wanted to do this conversation with Anders in English. But normally we have UppTalk Weekly on Tuesdays at lunchtime. And then we invite different researchers to have a conversation like this. And in the end of every month, we have a panel discussion when we invite not only researchers, but also people from the society. And now, Anders, welcome back.
Thank you. Well, cyber break. I don't know what happened. You froze.
Yeah, and you did too.
Okay.
So we froze on both sides.
Yeah, but
do you want me to repeat the question, or do you remember?
No, it stopped from Erik, I heard. So,
okay, then I take the question again.
Right.
Any plans for divestment, decarbonizing of university endowment funds, following in the footstep of Oxbridge and the University of California system?
Wow, that's an interesting question, and then I just have to admit that I don't know what that actually is in the California system, but it sounds interesting. So I can just see if the person who asked the question can maybe get back to me and tell me a bit more what that actually is. I think. Of course, the funding and how to get money for these interdisciplinary projects, etc., is a very important question, of course. And I think we should look in all kind of possibilities with donations, and if there are other endowment plans, that I think we should really look into it and see what the possibilities are. And at the moment, I can just say that sounds very interesting, and I would be very interested to look into this as much as I can, but I just simply don't know really what we can do or what the possibilities are or problems.
This question leads us to another question, and that are, what are your thoughts about collaboration with just industry and society for the university?
Yeah, no, I think they are very important, and it's always with industry a balancing act. I personally have had several industrial, both startup companies, and I have also founding a startup company. And we have worked also with huge chemical industries like BASF in Germany and Merck, Sony and such companies. So I find it very stimulating often, motivating. The challenge is just that as an academic, you have also to sometimes explain what are our conditions. We have PhD students, they have to publish. We cannot keep everything confidential forever, let's say, or not only patents are interesting. So you have to have a communication where you both industry and academia understand each other's conditions and what is sort of what we can do. But then I have experienced very positive experiences with industry. But one has to sort of go into it with open eyes and see what that both benefit. Again, a win-win situation, let's say, is important. With the society, I think that's also a lot of potential in Uppsala, which is of course also developed, but can be more. I think we have a very fascinating history, of course, where one can do more, I think, in Uppsala to tell what oxygen was discovered, for example. It's in the, I still don't think there's something saying where oxygen was discovered by Scheele in his lab there close to Storgatan, and so on. So I mean, one can do a lot of course, also with other things. We had a very nice chemistry year to 2011, where we interacted with showing chemistry in the city and so on. So there are many things there one can do as well.
Let's see here. We have a follow-up from Eric that he say basically that the university would pledge to divest from all direct and indirect investment in fossil fuels by 2030 and cut its greenhouse gas emission to net zero by 2038.
Ah, that's good. Yeah, that would be very interesting to try to develop something like that. I mean, the energy, still one meeting left, one in the energy center for EPFL here. And we do something similar there. We start to look into much more in detail, what is the energy cost, electricity cost, where does the energy comes from, and build up photovoltaics here on the roof and so on. Battery storage. So it's quite a lot of things in that sense going on here at EPFL. And I know the energy center here told me when I had with the last meeting that they are very interested to continue to do collaboration with Uppsala. So there are certainly possibilities there, and it's good to create these goals, I think, to really put Uppsala as a kind of a role model how to work on these things. So sounds good. I'm happy for the question, and Erik, you for sure you're welcome to come back and we'll discuss more.
We have another question from Thomas. What is your thoughts and views about university rankings? Both EPFL and Uppsala University are well-renowned universities. Where would you like to see UU to be ranked in the world rankings after you have served as Vice-Chancellor of Uppsala University?
That's a great question. I constantly think about it actually, and I haven't really. I think it's a process also within the university to discuss these things as being done. Of course, some EPFL is, I've been where it was mostly in focus, which in my experience was at NTU and Nanyang Technological University, Singapore. They, with Bengt Andersson as a Vice-Chancellor there, they really set up a target to be on top as a ranking, and from there then create the research and so on. So I've seen the places where you really put the ranking as a highly important goal. EPFL is more balanced, I would say. I mean, EPFL is very high up in the ranking, close to ETH, which is the most important for EPFL. And then back to Uppsala, where we are a bit different as university. We have the science and technology, which is more what I know from, and ranking and citation and so on. So the humaniora, social sciences, has a different way, I think, to look into these things. So we have to find a profile of Uppsala where I would say the strategy and goals, which I read through, looks very good to me. And I think a ranking should be a consequence of what we are doing and not the goal itself, let's say, in a sense. So if we do good research education, then our ranking should come as a consequence of that. That's in a way how I look at it. Then, of course, we also know that that researchers, especially young researchers, young students, look into ranking, and it's for them maybe one of the decisions indicator they take. So I think we have to realize that the world is reality is that people look into rankings, and we have to look into that as well. And I think we are different positions in different rankings, so it depends on how you calculate them. So I don't want to put a number really. I think we should be seen as one of the internationally leading broad universities, and that in that sense, we are attractive to the best researchers internationally and the students. And we should be on a ranking position that doesn't stop the best students and researchers to come to Uppsala. I know, for example, that in some countries to get scholarship for study at internationally, you can only get scholarship if the university is among the top 100 or something like that. So I think we should be part of that, let's say. But it's something to discuss in the university. I'm very open to take this discussion forward.
The next questions are leading us towards your research. So I will read the question, but I think that you might start with telling us a bit more about your research. But the question are you ready to create your own research group in Uppsala? So I think you can start to tell us a bit more about the research on Grätzel cells that you have done.
Okay, so I'll just show a few pictures to share my screen, just to introduce it very quickly. Let's see, share screen. Okay, I think I need to be host disabled screen sharing, it says.
Yes, since you dropped out, we managed to make you.
Oh,
I think now,
okay.
Yes, but you can start talking a bit about your work, and then I will do a thumb up when you are.
Yeah, okay. So, I started in PhD with something we call the dye-sensitized solar cell, or after the discoverer Michael Grätzel, who is just in the office beside me now. It's called the Grätzel cell after him. And that's something I spent 30 years with now, let's say. And then it has broadened. We can say that we have 3 pillars in our research. It's the classical dye-sensitized cells with applications as windows with different colors from the dyes, especially nowadays commercially interesting for consumer electronics, Internet of Things, to drive sensors and so on. The last 8 years have seen a remarkable and unprecedented development of solar cells, what is called perovskite solar cell, which is started from a modification of dye-sensitized cell, but it has its own life and a huge research field with thousands of papers published every year. And the third pillar is to do solar fuel, hydrogen from water, or carbon dioxide reduction to various fuels. So on the Grätzel cell, we developed this in Uppsala 2011 for the International Year of Chemistry. So it shows you that you can make dye-sensitized cell without knowing basically anything of solar cells and not even chemistry either. You get this kit, which we lend out to the high schools in Sweden, and you have the ingredients: titanium dioxide, white pigment, iodide, salt in a solvent, organic solvent, graphite from the pencil as a cathode. And in this solar cell kit, you build your own solar cell, and to pass the lab, so to speak, you should drive the display in the calculator here with your own solar cell. The main ingredient is missing, and that's the dye molecule itself. So the students have to find something which have dyes. So we make a tip of blueberries or chlorophyll, which you can extract from spinach, or whatever you can try. So it's a good educational technology as well, I think. And the applications today, as I said, is more now towards indoor consumer electronics, where we see top performing power output in indoor light with this technology. And the biggest company here is Exiger. They are actually in Stockholm with 120 people, I think, employed working on these things. In Japan also, Ricoh, Fujikura also working with this kind of consumer electronic products. On the perovskite, as I said, remarkable efficiency development starting here 2012 with the breakthrough, and today the world record is 25.5%, which is this is lab scale, I should say, very close to the absolute best silicon world record. We certified 25.2% from EPFL 2-3 weeks back, and then we had the we had the world record together with another Korean group, but now just 2 weeks ago it was 25.5. So we lost the world record a little bit with this, but we carry on, let's say. So I think with that it was a little bit of an introduction. The question was to have my own research group. Well, I would like to do that. That's positive. Reality is probably that it will be not a lot of time to do my own research. But we have, of course, very good research groups who works with these, the same. So Dr. Charlotte Borslo, Erik Johansson at Ångström, Thomas Edvinsson, we have the Leif Hammarström and so on. So I have many friends and colleagues who do similar things. So I feel that I will very much like to stay connected to this research and then, yeah, stay connected to my colleagues at Ångström, let's say.
And what are the future for this solar cells? What's the next step in research?
Yeah, for the dye sensitized, we have split them up a little bit. The dye sensitized cell, I think for solar cells, I mean to really compete on an energy, dye sensitized cell really need then a breakthrough in higher efficiency. But in terms of development, it goes very much toward design with consumer products, as I said. So that's also very exciting too, actually, and combine or replace batteries. On the perovskite, that's much more technology which can really compete with energy technologies, photovoltaics. So there it's, the biggest challenge there is to prove durability, to make them stable for 20 years like silicon cells. That's a challenge, but the efficiency is certainly there.
Yes, and is this the only research that you have done in threads, or have you done research about other things as well?
Yeah, over the years we have been into using this. It's a nanotechnology. It's based on nanoporous electrodes. So then you have all the electrochemical applications. So we have been studied more fundamentally lithium-ion batteries. We did a lot of work in the 90s, some years back. We have looked into displays, electrochromic materials to use them as displays. And also some, even one paper I have on organic synthesis, which I'm proud because I don't know anything about organic synthesis. I have difficulties to boil eggs at home, I think so. But we have done that too. So it's a versatile material device, let's say. So you can do a lot of other things, yes.
We are closing to our finish time. It's only 2 minutes left. So I want to ask you a last question. And what are you looking forward to most when it comes to coming back to Uppsala University as our, hopefully, Vice-Chancellor?
Yeah. What I'm looking forward most to is to meet all the people I don't know so far. I mean, also to meet my friends and colleagues, of course, but also to learn a lot from others and so to meet the people at Uppsala and to be part of these exciting ideas. It's an amazing platform to be Vice-Chancellor of Uppsala, and also today we heard these questions on setting targets for carbon-free goals and so on, and that kind of discussions and meeting people who are experts and doing these things. That is really exciting to think about.
Yeah, very nice to hear. And yes, thank you very much, Anders, for taking your time and talking to us.
Sure.
And answering all the questions. Next, or now on Tuesday, October 13, we will welcome Mikael Höök from the Department of Earth Science, Natural Resources and Sustainable Development to UppTalk Weekly. And this UppTalk Weekly will be in Swedish, and we will talk about materialflöden. Är de en flaskhals för omställning till hållbarare energi? Warm welcome on Tuesday. Varmt välkommen på tisdag.